Namaste. Welcome to the beginning of another live Sangha. Today we start ASMR Sunday edition. So it's my intention to hold extra space for relaxation, validation, spiritual affirmation, things like that. I'll try to speak as softly as I can and not go into any concept that'll keep you up at night. Check this out. You ever just want to drink the whole universe? Well, I've got the whole universe in the cup here. See? Imagine the calorie density of a black hole. It's crazy. All you do is you eat one black hole, and suddenly you have eaten quadrillions of calories. That would take forever to burn off. Welcome. I'm very grateful to be here. I hope to be your humble host. If you're not, or if I'm not humble, please humble me. Hold me accountable to that. Namaste, dear Sky Guardian. You always wanted to, when you pass away, have your body shipped into a black hole. I feel like I've heard someone else say that. I think it was Neil deGrasse Tyson. I remember hearing him on an interview say the exact same thing. Mind you, it'd be pretty violent because something called spaghettification would turn you into this infinitesimally thin and long noodle because the force of wait. This is definitely a topic that would keep you up at night. Anyway. Hello, dear Mariham. Hello, dear Evan. Welcome. You share you're having a lot of trouble with your partner. Any advice? I'm sorry to hear that, dear Evan. Remember that open communication heals. If you can create room for healthy dialogue, that can go a very long way. Remember that boundaries are not meant to restrict your relationship in any way, but actually as a gift to each of you to help ensure a more safe role for each other, knowing what kind of space to hold for each other. I statements can really help, saying things like, when I see you do this, or when I hear you say this, it makes me feel this way. Would it be possible for me to ask you to do this instead, for example? It can be a little embarrassing at times to, speak so formally with someone that you're so intimate and connected with, but it really goes a long way. Foster understanding between the two of you gently. Very gently deepen your understanding of each other's limits and needs. Keep an open heart. Listen carefully. Create a safe space. Thank you, dear Ashley, for your heart me. Never expected, but deeply appreciated. Radhe, Radhe. And dear Lala Michelle, thank you for your octet of roses too. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hello, dear Mikesh Gaming. I'm feeling well, thank you. How are you? I'd love to know how all of you are feeling. You can relate with being in a situation of having partner troubles, dear Lala Michelle. Welcome, dear Sakamoji. Thank you for your happy holiday wishes. I'd love to know how all of you are feeling if you want to share. And if there's any reflections that you have, I'd be very, very happy to listen to any insights or reflections you've had since last time. Dear UK History, you share that you've been spreading so much hate recently, but you feel like you need to. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, dear UK. It's always good to be honest with yourself. And thank you for being honest with me about that. Hate is always something that we can question within ourselves and ask, is there another way that I could deliver this information or express my feelings? Focus on the things you love, but I acknowledge that it can be difficult. For example, in your case, you shared that you're so done with love and relationships. Sounds like you're on a bit of a healing journey, and that's okay. I wish you well in that, and I'm sure you'll succeed. Sometimes we need to love from a distance and give ourselves the grace of space to focus on protecting our resources, our needs, our energies. Love yourself first. You can't pour from an empty cup. And be curious with all of your feelings. Continue to have compassion, even when it seems challenging. Dear Leanne, you ask if I'm on the naughty or nice list this year. Can I be on both? I like to find a perfect balance between my mischief and my kindness. Dear Fiddleif, you share you're feeling content and peaceful. I'm so happy to hear that. And thank you for your heart meat, your pair of roses, and the tiny Yahoo! Welcome, dear G. Hello, Sakura. You're feeling beautiful, Mo? Well, good, because you are. We all have a duty to cultivate self-compassion. And I hope to celebrate each other's contentment with joy. I'm so grateful to hear of all of what you're going through. It makes me feel happy to know that you feel like this is a space that you can share what you're going through. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for sharing the live, dear G and Fiddleleaf. Dear Hybrid Jen, you share you kind of feel unhinged and deal with hormones when it's your time of the month. I understand, dear Jen. The body definitely has things that it does without us. If we could choose for our body to do things at some times and not others. I'm sure we would. But some things we have to work with and not against, and we certainly have to work with the natural flow of our hormones. Thank you, Lala Michelle, for another Heart Me and Team bracelet. Om Ganganapataye Namaha. And dear Sergio, thank you for your trio of team bracelets. Om Kringalikaye Namaha. And dear Rahina, thank you for your 44 fest bursts. It's very fun. Hare Krishna. Welcome, dear Magdalene Snuffleupagus Rangy. Oh, I'm very happy to know that you are aware of these fluctuations in your body and mind, dear Jen. But don't feel like you have to analyze yourself to death. Stay curious, be open to your own feelings, and go with the flow. Hold space for yourself. I love to see all the community support. Thank you. I'm so happy to be on this planet with all of you. Dear Indrid, you had asked, how do you meditate with tinnitus? I imagine that sounds challenging, no pun intended. It can be difficult when especially we associate meditation with silence and stillness. But that is only one kind of meditation. It's called Nirvikalpa meditation, a meditation of nothingness, and it's perhaps the most commonly understood idea of what meditation can mean. But you can have a fully meditative experience that isn't silent or still, and that's called Savikalpa meditation. In Savikalpa meditation, you incorporate all the senses. You listen intently to everything around you. You allow your mind to be as it is, thinking its thoughts. You allow all your feelings to be there. And if your body needs to move, then you move. Incorporating all of your senses into the meditation can be just as profound. So if you go into your meditation with a Savikalpa intention rather than a Nirvikalpa intention, then the tinnitus isn't something that has to go. It's something that you fully hold space for, just like all other feelings. I like what G has added. You can meditate in the shower as the acoustics balance out G's tinnitus. What a great idea, G. Thank you for adding that. All sorts of different kinds of unique meditations, and total silence isn't mandatory to feel a different kind of silence. Silence of the soul. Thank you, dear Sakura. Radhe Radhe, dear Walia. Dear Cody Jane, you made a huge decision. You're going to Norway. I'm very impressed that you made such a big decision in short notice, and I know it will work out for you. Not without some lessons, of course, but that's a part of the journey too. dear Lala Michelle, you share that you feel scattered, like the Targon planters. Not sure I understand what Targon planters are. It sounds like it might be something out of Star Wars, but you're feeling weak and betrayed, and you ask yourself, why can't you fix you? Why do you feel so paralyzed? Those are some heavy feelings. It sounds like you're being really hard on yourself when you don't have to be. It's absolutely okay to be how you are in this moment, and your healing journey doesn't have to happen in a short time frame. It can take place over weeks to months to years, and that's perfectly valid. Love yourself. Have compassion for the place you're in right now. It's okay to feel scattered at times or paralyzed. This too shall pass. But your vulnerability is very beautiful. Yes, you're so brave, dear Cody Jane. Trust the journey. All the lessons you experience foster growth. Allow time for healing. Embrace all your feelings just as they are. Show yourself compassion. True strength is in the ability to be vulnerable. Continue to love yourself deeply and acknowledge how brave you are. And thank you, dear Fiddle Leaf, for the team bracelet you sent. Om Aing Saraswatyai Namaha. Namaskaram, dear Ragnhildur. Dear Lala Michelle, you share the feeling of the object or clothing that's touching your skin is wild. Yes, I know that. It's a common trait for people who are really sensitive. Us neurodivergents, we can be so sensitive to things like texture, as G shares. Natural fabrics and loose-fitting clothes can be really helpful. And also, if you're in the comfort of your own home, sometimes you don't have to wear clothes. I know it sounds weird to say, but if you're not expecting people over and people aren't looking in through your windows, if you want your pants off, who's going to stop you? I like to wear a robe, generally, like a house coat, unless I'm going live or going out. Even then, sometimes I'll have a robe on if I'm feeling lazy that day. But shifting your attention to the things that are comfortable otherwise can be very helpful. And your home is your safe space. You can prioritize your comfort there and tune into relaxation. Dress for ease. Much love, dear Miananda. And thank you for sending waves of unconditional love, dear Michael, for us all. And Lala Michelle, about your feelings, you ask, why don't they let you go? Well, sometimes they stay because we're holding on to them rather than them holding on to us. And we don't realize it at times, but sometimes our sadness can be comfortable. Sometimes our frustration is just what we're used to. And when we do let go, we get scared when we feel relaxed for the first time in a while, and we think, well, this is a new feeling. Something must be up. And so we go back into what's comfortable, even if, or maybe if instead of I think I just mixed up all the words in that sentence. Instead of using the word comfortable, maybe I can use the word familiar. That sometimes these challenging feelings can be familiar, and we keep them around out of familiarity because we're so used to feeling like this. That is to say, embrace new feelings, allow openness for the unfamiliar, especially if those unfamiliar feelings are actually really wonderful, if you allow them to blossom. Embrace the new, release the old. Be gentle with yourself and trust your journey. Thank you, dear Isabella, for your finger heart. Here's one for you too. Om Kham Jahnavayai Namah. Dear Cody Jane, you share you're afraid to be away from your family on your own. That makes a lot of sense, and it will definitely be a new experience for you. But you'll certainly keep your family with you in your heart, and we have the magic of the internet to stay connected. And I hope you find family wherever you go, including in the people you meet there, and people here, for example. I see you've already joined the Discord, and I'm grateful for that. And if there's any familial kind of bonds that you can form there, that would make me happy to see. You will always be connected to love wherever you go. That's right. Dear HKY Farmer, it is ASMR Sunday, and I know you've been asking about these days, so I'm grateful that you're here. It sounds like a big lesson for you, dear Lala Michelle. I'm sorry that you're feeling betrayed. This is also a part of your journey of healing, because every time we go through a difficult situation, we also learn so much about how to better take care of ourselves going forward. And when you're ready, forgiveness is a gift that you give to yourself to clear up any energy that you're holding with you. It's not your fault for trusting. Trusting is always a wonderful thing, but it is true that sometimes that trust gets broken, and it can teach you many lessons about going slower, having pace, and protecting yourself, realizing when we depend on things that we can find independence from. All of those things will turn into wonderful things that you can look back on later, because this experience is rich in values and lessons. Hello, dear Christina. You shared that it's a nice life to end your birthday with. Well, thank you for sharing a part of your birthday with us all. I'm very grateful for that. Happy birthday, and I wish you many more, full of love and wonder, and hope you take time to reflect on all of your lessons that you've learned in our journey thus far. Successfully completing a lap around our sun is no small feat. I'm sorry to hear that the yam emoji doesn't seem to be working, dear Jay. I'll have to contact the emoji police. Thank you, dear Hybrid Jen, for your perfume. Tham Namaschandraya. And dear Nanny G, thank you for your hearts. Om Brahm Bhairvaya Namo Namah. We can all learn Danish together. I love that, Cody Jane. Yes, you'll have to teach me some new words. Much love, dear Lala Michelle. Josand, you ask, where did I find such a long Santa hat? Asking for a friend. From Santa. I kidnapped Santa. No, I'm just kidding. I'd never do that. It's one of the hats that my family has acquired. My family has a lot of Santa hats. I don't know where they come from. I'll have to ask. But you know what? Maybe there's a tag inside that can tell us. There is a tag. Made in China. Well, about as much as can be expected. You're gonna learn so much, dear Cody Jane, and I'm always gonna be happy to hear of the things you learn, like new words along the way. I love how lighthearted everyone is, but I guess I can be grateful for my family for keeping the tradition of Santa hats. Dear Beauty, thank you for finding calm vibes in my voice. And dear Secure, you're wondering if I've got any plans for Christmas. Oh, just hanging out with my family, exchanging gifts, having dinner probably. Maybe we'll go for a walk together or watch a movie. Something nice and simple. Dear Lala, you ask, how am I so wise in a youthful age? Well, I'll take this more of a statement than a question, and thank you for finding wisdom in me. I think it's a miracle that even my words are intelligible. If you find anything of value in them, that is not me, but the divine flowing through to you. I'm just happy to be here for it. Grateful to be part of the process. Dear Eve, you share that your beautiful baby girl, who is 23, forever passed away suddenly, leaving your grandson. He is now 23. Oh. I assume your baby girl's older than 23 if the grandson is 23. If I understand correctly, I'm sorry to hear that. Losing family is never easy. And I imagine this is a time of a lot of grief. But it is a wonderful thing that the grandson is there and that you or someone will be there to continue taking care of the grandson. Much love to the grandson. Losing a mother is not easy, but I believe in the divinity of the mother and that she will continue to look after him from above, so to speak. She has moved into the hearts of her loved ones and will continue to love and nurture. Her body may have passed back, returning to Mother Earth, but her spirit is free and even closer than ever before. Continue to cherish the memories you share and know that I'm sure you'll have many more magical moments. She will visit in dream, in sunsets, in rose bushes, in every cup of tea. But I acknowledge your loss. We have to honor those who have dropped their bodies. I offer you my love and my support. If there's anything else I can do to help, please let me know. Death is not just a loss of life, but it's a celebration of the life that they've had to. And thank you for the finger heart. I send you many finger hearts. Let's see how many I can make with my hands. Is that do any of these look like finger hearts? It looks like I'm just showing up gang signs now. Oh jeez. Anyway, here's a big heart for you, big hand heart. I never expected to give when you are certainly in need of receiving some love yourself. Nonetheless, appreciated. Om Ganganapataye Namah. Oh, I see. The grandson is 22 months now, but he was 6 months when he lost his mother. Now, am I understanding a little better? Sorry for the communication challenges. I know it's not easy to fit a comment with all the details in the space that you have available during a TikTok live. And especially when we're going through so much, it's easier to type something different than as intended. I appreciate your patience. Welcome, dear Illust Philosophy. I hope you are enjoying your holiday break. Hello, dear Karen. This is a very pivotal moment in your life, dear Eve. you and all your loved ones will make it through it. Love always transcends death. Hello, dear Chloe. I like the way you share that, dear Bubbles. It's hard to know the reasons the universe unfolds the way it does, but it dances beautifully. Thank you, dear Lala Michelle. I hope you continue to love and forgive yourself. I know we can be hard on ourselves because we want to be better, but if we are hard on ourselves, it only makes it harder to be better in the long run. The best that you can do for yourself is be kind to yourself. Forgive yourself. Every time you notice that you're being hard on yourself, that's okay. Say, now that I notice what I'm doing, I understand how I could be doing things with more love. And it's okay however long it takes for me to engage in that. No rush. You've got forever. Dear Chloe, you share you're already getting sleepy by the sound of my voice, in a good way. Well, I'm glad I'm not boring you to sleep. But if you really need to sleep, I'm sure I could do that. One time I read a dense mathematical book to someone and to help them fall asleep. Alright children, gather round. It's time to read Nonlinear Differential Equations and Dynamical Systems, 2nd edition. Once upon a time, the development of the theory of the influence of small perturbations on solutions of differential equations started in the 18th century. Since Poincaré, around the year 1900, perturbation theory is flourishing again with important new fundamental insights and applications. Just kidding. Thank you, dear Hybrid Jen, for your friendship necklace. Om Shri Mahalakshmiyai Namah. Differential equations give you bad memories, dear Sky Guardian G. You're not alone in having a difficult past with math education. Your journey is valid. There's never any rush to life. Love unfolds naturally. You're all doing as well as you can be. And that's enough. Dear Lala Michelle, thank you for your non-active TikToks. What's the name for cat in Sanskrit? Marjana? Namo Marjanaya. Dear Christina, you share you wish you could understand that level of math. So do mathematicians. Can I tell you a secret? tell? The secret is nobody understands math, not even the world's best mathematicians. The difference is that they just love to be confused. And they try their best anyway. Dear Karen, you share the only thing that's keeping you alive right now, your children. You're feeling so done, exhausted with life. Well, that's a very valid expression of your feelings. But it's also a very large weight that you place on your children. If, for example, my parents told me that I'm the only reason they're still here, I'd think, my goodness, Mom, what a weight you've placed on me. I would want my parents to share a love and passion for life in the same way that we want our children to be happy to be alive too. So please bless your children with self-love and continuing to pursue things that make you happy too. It's a beautiful thing that motherhood is so important to you and is your world. But you also have to take care of yourself. And the life you lived before you were a mother is also valid too. And the hobbies and creative interests, you deserve to find time for those things too. And your children certainly deserve a mother who is happy and healing and accepting of the fact that maybe she needs some healing in therapy, if that's something that you find valuable. Any burdens that you're holding on to, please release them, my dear. Free your heart of worry. May you find things that bring you joy that you can share with your children too. But I'm always admiring the mother. I think the mother is so divine. She is creation herself. Namaste, dear truth seeker. Dear Usha Priyaji, thank you for your hand hearts and your 11 roses. And some hair. You want some hair? I don't think so. Much love to you. I continue to pray every day that you are blessed by Swamiji, your Guruji. Om Hrim Namah Shivaya. I love that addition, dear Bubbles. It's hard to see, but suffering is good wood for the fire of liberation. Indeed. And through that suffering, I hope we all prioritize self-care, embrace creative interests and other ways of expressing ourselves, understand that our healing journey allows our happiness to come out through the vulnerability. We all have the power to bless each other. We all can wish that the divine showers blessings on another. And the more we pray for the wonderful life that everyone has the possibility of living, the more the divine graces us in return. Greetings, dear Deanna. I love you lots, dear Usha Priyaji, my spiritual sister. I still feel the bracelet tied around my wrist. Your kindness is absolutely a light, dear Fiddle Leaf, and I'm so grateful to see all the love shared amongst each other. Welcome, dear Jared. Thank you for sharing the live, dear Grand 11 and G. In case anyone needs to hear it, I'm sure I've said it 1,000 times, but I'll say it again. Our vulnerability is our greatest strength. We make the world a more open place by being open ourselves. You all have so much power within you to usher in love from the divine to each other, to wish for the welfare of everyone. Our love awakens our light. Kindness creates communities, and gratitude amplifies blessings. And I'm so grateful for all of you, as you are all my blessing. Some people think they're my karma, but they're my blessing. I'm happy that you're open to going beyond suffering, dear Christina. Let us continue to usher in love, awaken our inner light, foster kindness, and express gratitude. Thank you, Vara, for your likes on the live. Never expected, but I know it helps push the space to a wider audience. And if you feel like there's something valuable here, then our taps can reach even more people. In fact, the number of people that are reached by this live is about proportional to 10 taps on your screen. This is true. At the moment, we've been live for, let's see, 50 minutes, and there's been about 10,000 likes and 1,000 people here. 10-to-1 ratio. So imagine that every 10 taps on your screen, another person gets to see the space we have here. And let me drink from the universe. Oh, I added a little too much lemon juice to the universe, I think. Good evening, dear Robbie. And thank you for reflecting the light and insight shared here, dear Babalu. Alright, I would like to read from another section of Moksha. We're still in our beginning section of our live stream, dedicated to listening from new experiences. turn to the Manana section, dedicated to processing our experiences. You like lemon too, Deanna? You love your lemon water or tea? You don't think you can ever have too much lemon? When you start getting acid reflux, that's when you've had too much lemon. Sometimes I get to that point, unfortunately. But there are things that we can do to balance our pH. Dear Hybrid Jen, you share you can't connect your tablet to Bluetooth. Any tips? Maybe you can call upon Herald Bluetooth, who fostered connections in the Viking Age, after which it was named, and whose initials make up the symbol in Norse runes. Well, you can make sure your Bluetooth device is in pairing mode. Sometimes that means holding down the main button until light starts flashing, or someone in a voice starts saying, Bluetooth mode, connecting. You might hear a little jingle. Do-do, 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 do-do. And make sure that nothing else is connected to Bluetooth. And try refreshing the Bluetooth, turning it off and on again. Deanna, you share you don't think you ever had acid reflux from lemon, but you understand, well, you must be balancing your diet better than I am with some alkaline foods, which is good to hear. Whenever technology is frustrating, remember to breathe. I love the harmony here. Alright. We're starting a new part in our book today. Oh, let me make sure I'm recording for people to listen to this later. Today we start a new part in our book, the fourth part. The fourth part is titled I Am Brahmasmi, which is Sanskrit for I am Brahman, a quote from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, an ancient scripture, a layer of the Vedas, early spiritual revelations coming from the Himalayas thousands of years ago. Brahman means universal consciousness. It is perhaps the ultimate revelation. I am universal consciousness. Aham Brahmasmi. It's called a Mahavalkya, a great saying from ancient times. Much love, dear Lala Michelle. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. To anyone who needs to hear it, real aloe heals the esophagus and stomach. Alright, we start the 14th chapter. I hope this reading relaxes your mind and awakens your heart. The road was icy and crawling with carts, cars, buses, and crowds on foot, but the van held its own and made good progress. After a brief stop for gas, we headed directly to the Jolly Grant Airport in Dehradun, where a platoon of soldiers efficiently led us, privileged Western tourists, on a plane to Delhi. During the short, turbulent flight, amid the excited chatter and the steady drone of the army prop jet, Mr. Joshi's word, homeland, resounded off the aircraft cabin walls. My homeland, America, where I needed to be, where I would always be welcome, where my true self would emerge. As soon as we landed in Delhi, I decided to exchange my ticket for one to New York. I would call Gerhard and tell him that I was leaving for good, that I had no use for his money that I bribed from him. I would also inform Mother Gabriel of the convent that I was working at that she needed to find my replacement. I was going home. In New York, I would set up a consultancy on the management of the ever-increasing numbers of refugees. This had been my associate Pepe's and my future, who had passed away over the course of this story. Now it was mine. I breathed in and out. Soham, Soham, Sanskrit for He, I am, he referring to universal consciousness. What had I seen from that mountain cave? I had been feverish, in pain, exhausted and confused, and susceptible. Why did Sid feel the need to present this phantasmagoria that was completely contrary to what he termed as the highest wisdom? What was he trying to prove? As I drifted off, the question arose: was what I witnessed on the mountain real, or was this rolling, roiling aircraft real? Both are unreal, the boy Ashtavakra said to King Janaka. Only you are real. I called Gerhard's office as soon as I had landed. After a few minutes of being transferred from here to there, a gravelly voice introduced itself as Herr Müller of Müller and Waldorf, attorneys at law. In the driest of tones, the voice informed me that I was no longer required at the convent in any capacity. "Who are you?" I screamed into the phone. "This is outrageous. How dare you? I must speak to Mr. Gerhard. He'll want to know about Jonas." "You are a blackmailer," it cut in, "and Chairman Gerhard does not like blackmailers. Your bank account has been cleared out to a zero balance." "My bank account? How did you gain access? You must tell Mr. Gerhard that I had nothing to do with Jonas's capture. Only Mr. Raja's death. I'm going home." Mr. Müller was no longer on the line. I checked my bank account. Zero balance. All I had on me was my airline ticket to Chennai and some loose cash and coins. Let's pause our reading of Moksha, liberation, there for now. Thank you for listening. Namaste. By the way, if anyone ever wants to catch up on our readings, all of them are recorded and put in their own playlist on my YouTube channel, Yamsox Lives. If the story interests you and you're interested in having more context, you can always listen to those recordings. But I think that suffices for our Shravana for the live stream tonight. And we'll transition to the next portion dedicated to Q&A. Those are my transition effects. But we can reflect on what had happened. Thank you for listening. Namaste, everyone who joined. Sounds like another plot point had been added to our protagonist journey. On the way home, it seems like her bank account had been dropped to 0. Completely empty. Wow. Gerhard is a force to be reckoned with. Remember that he is secretly an incarnation of a demon, along with incarnations of divine beings, like our protagonist too. Lots of twists in our journey thus far. A balance of the divine and the dark. But there is a deeper wisdom unfolding. Some things are out of our control, and some things are only temporary. Actually, all things are only temporary, with the exception of you. As infinite love, nothing can ever quench you. Now we may return to anything in our hearts and minds, and I am your servant. If there's anything I can do to attend to something you're going through, it would be my honor. And if there's any insights or reflections you want to share, I would love to hear them from you. All things within our experience come to pass, but the experiencing, the experiencer, that can never pass. You are infinite love. Dear Lala Michelle, thank you for your octet of roses. Om Kringalikaye Namah. That means salutations to the Dark Mother within you. Darkness is beautiful as part of the Divine Feminine. Dear Sky Guardian, you wonder if TikTok has a way to detect auto tappers. You wanted to use an app to auto tap. You don't have to do that. We don't have to manually inflate the like count. I would like it to naturally reflect the love we have here. It's okay. Dear UK History, you ask, why is it that some people's paths seem so easy and others aren't? It's a great question, dear UK. At any given moment, there are people celebrating, people full of joy, people getting a breather, people experiencing some relief. At the same time, someone else somewhere in the world might be crying, going through a difficult lesson, having heartbreak, grief, anger. And that's because all of us are at different parts in our journeys. And no journey is, as a whole, more or less difficult, but the difficulty for one person is balanced with ease for another at different times. If everyone was going through something difficult at the same time, and then everyone was going through something easy at the same time, then where would be the people to help when people are in help? And where would be the people to help when we are in need of helping, for example? Our paths are certainly unique on the surface, but inside we all go through the same things. And those who are going through exceptionally challenging moments, you're also very blessed because the universe has chosen you for its most profound lessons at this moment. The deepest challenges bring out the deepest treasures too. And thank you, dear Hybrid Jen, for the quartet of team powers. Om Kham Jahnavyay Namah. Dear UK, you share, you feel you're coming out of an 8-year battle of difficulty, and for that you are thankful. I share your thanks in that. I'm grateful that you have come so far. Thank you for still being here. You've done well. That's a great observation, dear Lala Michelle. We notice so many bad things. Too many bad things, and the peaceful ones seem far and few between. It does seem like that, but our senses are often trained to look for the negative because it's a survival mechanism. Nature has created programs in us that are constantly on the lookout for things to be cautious of. Our survival sense, our danger sense, and that makes the smallest things into really big signals for us to react to. And that amplification of those negative sensations make it seem like we're surrounded at times with bad things, and that the peaceful things are far and few. But actually, there's a lot more peacefulness in this experience in ourself than we see. We take a lot of it for granted because for survival, what would be the purpose of paying close attention to the peaceful parts? If you're peaceful, there's nothing to worry about. And so all of those mechanisms in ourself that amplify our sensations, they turn off. But we have an ability to override our default programming. we have the ability to reprogram ourselves to focus on the positives, on the things that provide peace. It takes a long time. You can spend your whole life practicing, but it's definitely worth it. I like that idea of using the tapping on the screen as like a mala. Every tap you can do a mantra, like Om or Om Brahm, 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 Om Brahm. If you want. We have the ability to reprogram for peace. And that practice is slow, but it adds and it builds up over time. Just like cultivating gratitude daily, it begins to add up quickly. And by the end of a week of practicing things to be grateful for, you'll feel so much happier. Dear Lala Michelle, you ask, are these spirit beads? Oh, I love that term, spirit beads. I've never heard that before. There are many terms for these. They're also called prayer beads, worry beads. In Sanskrit, it's called mala. Maybe you have another name that I haven't heard of before. I like spirit beads, beautiful. They come from various practices all over the world. In fact, almost every religion has some form of prayer beads, like the Catholics doing the Hail Marys, Buddhists chanting on their bodhi seeds, Hindus chanting on their malas. What they can do is they can give you something to fidget with that also has spiritual significance. In the last few decades, we've seen a resurgence in fidget toys like spinners and cubes and poppets and things like that. Well, the ancient people knew how to have things to fidget with because they were just as neurodivergent as we are. But they made it spiritual. There's lots of different things you can fidget with while meditating that the ancient neurodivergent would use, the ancient yogis, like mala beads, and they serve a great purpose. Keeping your hands occupied, something to play with, and you can use these to help time your meditation, because there's one bead that's extra special called the Guru bead. And you feel when you get to that means you've done one round of either breathing or chanting, for example. And you can use that to gauge how long you want to meditate without relying on technology. It's a safety thing, like a blankie. Yeah, exactly. I like to use these manjira during my lives too. They make a beautiful sound, and when I'm fidgeting with them, sometimes I accidentally brush them up against each other and they make a sound that reminds me to breathe. I just love how much wisdom there is in ancient practices that are important up to modern times too. So much intuition. It's beautiful. But fidgeting is actually not a sign of distraction, it's a sign of focus. Fidgeting has been long used to help a person focus. Someone's fidgeting with something It helps them pay close attention to you, for example. Much love, dear Karen. I trust your judgment. If you want to be elsewhere, that's totally okay. But if there's anything I can do for you here, please let me know. You're always welcome to share what you're feeling, and even if what you're feeling seems different than the mood of this space at the present moment, do know that sharing what you're feeling is much more important to me than trying to maintain the same mood. So if there's any way in which I can hold space for what you're going through, let me know. But otherwise, I trust your judgment, and may you have a wonderful rest of your day. And take care. Dear Hybrid Jen, you express difficulty in staying still. That's okay, because no part of your body or mind needs to be still. Everything in the world, its nature is to move. That includes our body, that includes our mind. But you, as spirit, you are ever still. You are always perfectly still. You always have been. Even if your body is moving and your mind is too, you are perfectly still. You are the space of the movement, the witness of the movement, perfectly still. And thank you, dear Dar Isi, for your rose. Om Kali Mahangali Gali Ke Parmeshwari Sarvananda Kari Devi Narayani Namostute. Honor your feelings. Movement is natural, part of nature. She loves to move. Spirit loves to rest. Trust. Love. This is a safe space. I wish for all of your well-being. Thank you, dear Jen, for your quartet of roses. Om Tam Namastandraya. Salutations to the moon. The moon loves to change. That's why she goes through her phases. I'm so happy you find amazement in our team here and perfection in our camaraderie. We're certainly growing together, and I'm honored to have the community that I do. It is so special. You are all so wonderful to each other. It's a miracle. I feel like crying happy tears because I'm surrounded by the most sweet souls, and that is a blessing. Dear Derek, you share that you cannot meditate while upset. You have to keep busy. Any suggestions? Very understandable. It can be difficult to try to engage in some sort of stillness when you're upset. There are many kinds of meditation. Keeping your hands busy helps. So I encourage you to get yourself a mala and have fun. Find one that makes you happy. Maybe you can make one yourself. Very easy. All you need is 108 beads and one special bead in addition called the Guru bead. And if you need to walk around while meditating, absolutely fine. If your mind is wandering, absolutely fine. Just continue to redirect your awareness to something that grounds you, like a mantra, for example, or just your breath. And every time you notice your mind wandering, don't judge it. Allow it to be. Perfectly valid for the mind to wander. That's its duty to think. It does a great job thinking, but sometimes we can spend too much of our own attention to the mind when there's a lot more to our existence than just thoughts themselves. Yes, dear Sky Guardian, this mala I did make. It's a combination of a few different things. This was a pendant that my mom gave for me for my birthday, which is of course the Devanagari ligature for the Pranava, the Omkara. So I took the pendant from that necklace my mom got, and I took this slightly larger Rudraksha bead from a bracelet, and then the other 108 from a Tibetan mala, and then I restrung it all together to form the mala of my dreams. Dear Fiddleleaf, thank you for your quartet of roses. No, sorry, finger hearts. Thank you for your quartet of finger hearts. Om Namo Buddhaya. You're very welcome, dear Dar Ek. Why 108? To keep it consistent across all malas wherever you go in the world. If you ever lose one, having a fixed number across. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're back. I don't know what happened. My microphone disconnected. So yeah. The reason why it is a fixed number is to keep it consistent, so that wherever you go, if you want to upgrade your mala, or if you lose one or you want to make one, then it's the same for everyone, which is nice. Having a fixed number helps maintain consistency in people's meditations. It's nice to have a number that's not too big, not too small, and a good size for a necklace or to wrap around your wrist too, a couple times. For example, But there is a significance of 108. There are 4 celestial significances that I know of. The first is that if you think about the distance between our Earth and our moon, you could fit 108 moons in between. So the ratio between the distance between the Earth and the moon and the diameter of the moon is 108, thereabouts. Similarly, the same holds true for the sun. The ratio between the distance between the Earth and the sun and the sun's diameter is 108, thereabouts. That's why the sun and moon appear the same size in the sky, because diameter decreases with distance. But even though the sun is much bigger, it's also the same amount farther away. And that ratio is 108 for both the sun and the moon. But it doesn't stop there. So not only can you fit 108 moons between Earth and the moon, not only can you fit 108 suns in between the Earth and the sun, you can fit 108 Earths across the diameter of the sun. So it's a number that represents the Earth, Moon, Sun system. Very unique to our place. And of course the sun and moon are so symbolic spiritually. The sun represents divine masculine, the illuminating consciousness, and the moon represents the divine feminine, the reflecting mind. And of course the world represents our body. So this number correlates our body, mind, and soul in the Earth, moon, and sun. And there's one more celestial significance. In astrology, your chart consists of 9 celestial bodies. Mercury, Venus, skipping Earth because that's where you live, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and then the moon and the sun. So that's 9 celestial bodies. Each one of those celestial bodies can be in one of 12 constellations. So if you remember your combinatorics, the total combination of every celestial body in every constellation is 9 times 12, 108. So each of these beads represents transcending one astrological influence, represents one moon between Earth and moon, one sun between Earth and sun, and one Earth within the sun. Those are the celestial significances of 108 as a number for mala beads and a number for many other things. Dear Babalu, you ask, is it okay to screen record bits and pieces of the live for personal use? Of course. I also upload the entire live to my Yamsox Lives channel. And so for the past year, you can find hundreds of live streams all there for you. And the Guru bead is not one of the 108. So So in total, your mala has 109 beads, but you don't chant on the guru bead. You just bump into the guru bead and that tells you, oh, it's time to turn around or time to stop. And every one of us can have our own mala, and it's like our own unique little spiritual device. It truly is ancient technology. I'm so grateful for your TikTok and confetti, dear Jen. Never expected, but always appreciated. Am Namah Parashaktaye. Dear Blue Lily, thank you for your heart, mate. Radhe, oh Radhe, how are you? Dear Lydia, you're wondering who my favorite Hello Kitty character is. You'll have to remind me of some of their names. There's Hello Kitty. There's Cinnabon? Is that one of them? Cinnamon something? Cinnamon roll. Cinema roll. That's it. Yeah, I think that one's pretty cute. I love cinnamon roll. That's your favorite, dear Magdalene? What's the dark looking one from Sanrio? The bunny, I think. Kurami. I think that's the one I'm thinking of. But there's also Pochako. I don't know how to pronounce their names. Maybe you can teach me. Oh, that one's pretty cute. There's Pom, Purin. Oh, I love that one. Yes. Miffy. They're all so cute. The Japanese are so great at designing these. Maybe the one I'm thinking of isn't a bunny. Yeah, I am thinking of Koromi. Doppelganger of my melody. Yeah, I love Koromi. I resonate with that one because I like being cute, but not let my cuteness distract you from the fact that I'm also mischievous. You like my melody, dear Lydia? Well, I guess my favorite is your equal but opposite. Yeah, my melody is so sweet. They give me cute aggression, that's for sure. My sister has a Hello Kitty that has the same tattoos as Little Peep, the rapper, who unfortunately passed away. I think that's really funny. Or George, shares Lydia. Well, now I have to look at George. Oh, George is the papa of Hello Kitty. I like the Sanrio universe. dear Lala Michelle, for your nonette of fast birth. Om Ganganapataye Namah. Dear Hybrid Jen, you share your youngest daughter tries to convince you to move to Japan. You should. I think you'd fit right in. Hello, dear Crossfires. You really like my shirt, dear Blue Lily? Oh, I'm happy to hear that. It's fun. Blending into the universe a little bit. Magdalene, you share my sweet piano is also super precious. Is that a Sanrio character? My sweet piano? Oh, it's the lamb. Yeah, I love that. Here I was expecting a keyboard. I think cute things like that, it appeals to a deep part of the universe that wants to be small because it's so big. Through all of us, the universe loves being cute. I've discovered that. And it's an urge within all of us, I believe, at times. The universe is so infinite that it dreams of being cute and tiny. And that's why we are all cute and tiny compared to the size of the universe. That the universe looks fondly on our little blue pearl we call Earth, and all of the animals in the universe blushes and goes, "Oh my goodness! Oh my God! So cute! So cute! Me as humans. Me as little animals." We need to remind ourselves to be playful and have fun on this journey. I love that, Deanna. Indeed. I would really recommend reading about the stories of various spiritual teachers, especially some of the yogis in India, because don't let them fool you. They're some of the cutest beings, the most soft souls. If you read about Nisargadatta Maharaj, if you read about Paramahansa Ramakrishna, even Buddha, even Jesus. Oh, are they ever depicted looking fierce or looking very sweet and loving? Jesus is compared to a lamb, isn't he? Just like, what was her name? My Sweet Piano? So kawaii! Beauty comes in many kinds, that's for sure. Being true to oneself is the first step in happiness. Dear Crossfires, how was your day at work? You didn't miss the question of the day. I forgot it yesterday. Make sure I don't forget it today. Thank you, dear Who is Fiona, for your heart me and Nonette or 10 team bracelets. Om Namah Karim Ambitame Shring Naditame Haring Devitame I'm Saraswatyai Swaha. It was good, dear Crossfires. Christmas is coming up fast now. It's sprinting towards us at full speed. Ho ho ho! Did you have any stories from your day, dear Crossfires? Thank you for sharing the live, dear M Sunflower Love. Thank you, dear John Simon Ritchie, for your GG. Om Ham Jum Sa Om Bhur Bhuvaswa Om Dhryambakam Yajamahi Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukam Iva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat Om Swaha Bhuvaha Bhuhu Om Saha Jum Haum Om. Crossfires, you share. People are strange when you're a stranger. That is true. Welcome, dear Rosetta. Perhaps you would like to know about what we do on Sunday. Sunday, I try to make my voice nice and soft. I call it ASMR Sunday. With extra special focus on relaxation, validation, affirmation. Thank you, dear Jen, for your baker's dozen worth of roses. Om Kring Kali Kai Namah. So if you're wondering why I'm quieter today than usual, and I've got sleep frequencies in the background, that is why. Hola, dear Vivi. Dear Who is Fiona, you're wondering if you should make candles at 4 in the morning to send as Christmas gifts. Yay or nay? I love that idea, dear Fiona. I love a gift that you can smell. Dear Hybrid Jen, you've never heard of a baker's dozen before? Can you guess what a baker's dozen means? It's a fun idea. I love it. I'm happy you find relaxation and affirmation here, dear Deanna. But that's true. Sleep is definitely a priority, dear Fiona. Welcome, dear Morgan Bhakta. Devi Dasi. Hare Krishna. Means extra. That's right, dear Hybrid Jen. And what about a baker's dozen means extra? What would a baker need extra for? Thank Thank you, dear Mr. Borkdako, for your heart, mate. Jaya Sita Ram. And dear Morgan Bhakta, thank you for your fest crown. Om Narayanaya Vidmahe Vasudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishnu Prachodayat. One for the baker. Baker spends so much work baking for other people. Gotta make sure you make one extra for yourself. So you give a dozen to the people that you're baking for, and then you keep one for yourself. So in total, 13. A baker's dozen. Also one to make sure that what you made is edible. Because how would you know? Maybe you made a dozen muffins, but they're no good. But you don't want to eat something that you're going to give to who you're baking for. So you make one more to test. Yep, it's a good muffin. Worthy of giving to others. May we all have a baker's dozen of love to give to each other. And we give lots of love, but then we love ourselves. Make sure the love juice tastes good. Yep, my love tastes good. I get to enjoy my love too. Dear Deanna, you share you can only tap to show support as your bank account was compromised and all the money's stolen. But you know it will be a divine and perfect solution. I'm sorry to hear that, dear Deanna, but I'm so grateful to know that you're keeping your spirits up. And just your presence here is a gift to me that brings a smile to my face. Any more than that is bonus, extra. You and the protagonist have had a loss of the money in a bank account. That's actually just what happened when we finished our reading earlier. It's that her money was stolen out of her bank account too. Maybe the story is meant for you. But I'm happy to know that the true wealth of good spirits is still there, just like the Who's of Whoville. Even when their Christmas trees and their decorations and their presents were stolen, they still had their Christmas spirit. And I pray for your money to manifest itself in new ways, for you to be able to take care of all the loved ones in your life. So who is Fiona? You ask, should you eat your 13th candle then? Yes, that's right. The 13th item in a baker's dozen is what you eat. No exceptions. Now, if you made it out of beeswax, maybe you could eat it. But in this case, you would keep a candle for you to light. That's how you'd use the 13th item in a baker's dozen of candles. Dear Crossfires, you ask, do I know it's a song? People are strange when you are a stranger. The Lost Boys. I don't know, but thank you for teaching me. All the things you share with me are enough music. The people in my life and their stories are my songs. You are music to my ears, dear Crossfires. Lost Boys is a movie? Oh. Well, your story is like a movie for me. Let me adapt what I said. Thank you for taking up space, dear Deanna. You are such a perfect addition to the universe. It wouldn't be complete without you as a part of the space. I'm happy that the part of the universe that you are had enough confidence in itself that, you know what? I am something that adds value to this universe. So you have come here in honor of that. You are divine. Always happy to hear your story. You complete the universe. And you can be confident in that you're meant to be here. Truly. Dear Hypergen, you googled a baker's dozen. You share it's also called a devil's dozen, or a long dozen too. How interesting. Thank you for being so lovely, dear Magdalene, but I know it's your nature, and you can't help it. We all have been given a voice for the purpose of creating vibrations that add to each other's life. I really look up to many of your abilities to communicate constructively, openly, positively with each other. All of you help shape my own vocabulary too. Your voice matters. It has a purpose. It carries with it meaning. And your message will be received. Of course, dear Deanna, you're welcome, and I thank you so much for being you. There's so much you have to give this world still. All at the perfect time, when you are ready. Your journey is far from over yet. Thank you, Who is Fiona, for your subscription. I'm blessed to have you here too. And I continue to learn. Who is Fiona? And there's always more to learn from you. And I hope you find lots of stuff to learn from each other here too. Om Sadhyo Jatam Prapadyami Sadhyo Jataya Vai Namo Namah Bhave Bhave Nati Bhave Bhavasvama Bhavud Bhavaya Namah. All have a unique energetic signature, a vibration that's here to harmonize with the rest. Your voice carries with it the power to grow, and with it our gifts unfold in time. just when it is meant to. Who is Fiona? You share, you have that username because you don't quite know who you are yet. And that's the most beautiful thing about being us, is that our own nature mystifies us. That's how magical you are. You could live for a trillion aeons and still discover something new about yourself. Like, maybe you really do like raisins. You just never gave them a chance. You've been putting them off for ages. I'm so happy that we learn so much together here. Our essences have the ability to complement each other perfectly. There's a lot of friendships that are incredibly powerful being forged in the short time we've had together here too. You just love what I'm wearing, dear Fiona. Well, thank you. I got it from the thrift store, I believe. I think I can zoom out a little bit. I can show you what I'm wearing. I definitely dissolve into the universe. I'm wearing some pajamas on the bottom. I figured if you're not gonna look at my pants, I don't need to dress up down there. I can just wear pajamas. I can be comfy down there. Hello, dear Stevie G. Happy holidays, dear Kerrigan. I love that name. Deanna, you share your heart is so full of love right now for the support of this beautiful community. Thank you. Well, it wouldn't be as beautiful without you here. You have PJs on too, dear Fiddleleaf. And Crossfires, you have your robe on. Oh, I'm grateful you're all comfortable. It is important. Yeah, I put a lot of lemon in that water. But it's got the whole universe in it. And in theory, all of the lemons in the universe. Fiddleleaf, you love the gold outfit Tara sent me. Oh, it's one of my favorite outfits too. I wish I could wear it every day. Dear Hybrid Jen, you liked when we did that fractal thing with two screens facing one another? Oh, we haven't done that in a while. Yeah. What would that look like now? Gotta center it. Oh, yeah. Whole universe is found within self-awareness. When an input feeds back from the output, you create consciousness. Life is forged through simple rules that interact with themselves, creating cells dividing, evolving, worlds colliding. Life is a fractal within a fractal within a fractal. We can get some of your usernames in here. I just gotta quickly. All right. Dear Kerrigan, you ask, what do I think of siddhis? Do I experience any? Spiritual powers naturally unlock as we deepen our spiritual journeys. They are to be used for good, not to inflate our own sense of power over the world, which can be a great challenge, but as instruments to enhance the love that you are already capable of giving. My mother definitely has siddhis. She seems to know what I'm thinking. And I feel so vulnerable with my thoughts around her because every time I'm thinking something specific, she just starts talking about that. It's like, okay, don't think about anything weird. Don't think about anything weird. But it's really helpful. She can empathize with what I'm feeling, even if I don't explain what's going on. I can't hide anything from her, so I don't even try. And she has a remarkable ability to bring her awareness to lost objects. If she's missing something, she's the first person I go to. I say, Mom, I have no idea where I put my satchel. Have you tried looking in your closet on the left? I'll say, yeah, of course. She goes, look again. And so I walk down, open my closet, look on the, oh, there it is. It doesn't even have to be in the house. I can phone her. Mom, where's my toothbrush? It's in the sink. Oh yeah, that's right. I put that there this morning, but you haven't been home since I put that there. I don't know. She's very humble with it. Motherhood brings powers of its own, absolutely. Fiddle-leaf, you share your dog used to be able to read you so well. Animals are very good at understanding how we're feeling. They can definitely pick up on things that we can't. Your littles do that for you, dear Jen. I love that. Hello, Am Happy Man. But the greatest siddhi is love. And you don't have to be able to levitate or be telekinetic or have telekinetic powers or telepathy or astral projection for any of that. You can reach the highest abodes just being an ordinary dude or dudette. It does not take magic powers to become fully enlightened. It takes love. You can be completely ordinary. You can be a totally average Joe. But if you're full of love, that'll take you to the highest abodes. not heard of that, dear Kerrigan. Dear Stevie G, you share, why is it that before and after going to the spiritual event you feel angry, but during you feel joyful? Sounds like the nature of the Gunas. When you are in a Sattvic place, you can't help but be Sattvic. But Sattva, like all material energies, they come to pass. Even the mode of goodness passes. Even if we are fully enlightened beings, we will still experience a full cycle of all of the gunas, from goodness to passion to darkness. Enlightenment is nirguna, beyond the gunas. You can be fully at peace within yourself, but still have very real worldly problems, like a mind full of anger, or a body full of aches, or a world full of problems. All of these things are going to continue to be there. The only difference between the enlightened and the unenlightened is that the enlightened are always pragmatic. They go, okay, there is some anger in my mind. I hold absolutely no judgment towards those thoughts. With full acceptance and love, let me attend to that anger. Let me be curious about that, what came out of this mouth, how people reacted, and allow me to learn from this experience. I love what Swami Taratmanandaji says, that really enlightenment is just being super normal. It's not that normal people are unenlightened. The real normal people are the enlightened beings. We're all abnormal for not being so simple, so pure. That's our default state. So guna is a Sanskrit word. G-U retroflex N-A, guna. It is something that you can learn about in one of the later chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, the 14th chapter. Something that's rarely talked about outside this tradition, but it's so important to understand that everything in material nature operates in 3 modes. Name absolutely anything, and it's either operating in tamas, the mode of darkness, the mode of dissolution, the mode of obfuscation. Is that I'm just going to use an alternative word here. The mode of occlusion. Second is rajas, the mode of passion, energy, creation, activity. Or sattva, the mode of purity, balance, simplicity. Obfuscation. Obfuscation. Thank you, Fiddleeve and Gregor G and Lupi Lane. Yes, that's tamas, the guna or quality associated with finality. Every trinity in the universe is just a manifestation of these 3 gunas. Past, present, future. Well, the past is behind us. We can't change it. It's in the mode of tamas, darkness. The future is full of possibility. It's in the mode of rajas, creation, passion. But the present is in balance between the two. It's in the mode of sattva, purity, stillness. The three states, waking, dream, and deep sleep. Sleep is, of course, an absence of experience. It's in the mode of tamas. Dream is very passionate, where a lot of our dreams or fears and desires take place. That's in the mode of rajas, passion. And waking state is, of course, the highest level of consciousness. That is in the mode of sattva, purity. The three forces of the divine, creation, preservation, destruction, are rajasic, sattvic, and tamasic, respectively. If you think of any trinity, it can be broken down in terms of these qualities. And when you start noticing, that person's behaving tamasically, or that person's behaving rajasically, or that person's behaving sattvically, or the food I'm eating is tamasic, or rajasic, or sattvic, or the thought I'm thinking is tamasic, rajasic, or sattvic, then we can bring our self to engage in more sattvic behaviors, or foods, or thoughts, for example. And if you look at your actions, everything can be done according to these three different qualities. Welcome, dear Mirna. For example, let's say you forgot your keys and you have to go back inside the house to get them. The tamasic way to do that would be to complain. You'd go, I'm always forgetting things. Why can't I just remember? And you stomp back in, you swing the door open, you grab the keys and you slam the door. That would be the tamasic way. The rajasic way would be, oh my goodness. And then you sprint inside. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I gotta find it. Oh my goodness. You find the keys. Oh, thank goodness. And you run out. Full of energy, full of passion. But the best way to do anything is always sattvic. The sattvic way would be, I just remembered my keys are still inside. And you calmly go inside. There they are. I'm grateful I remembered. Shut the door, you walk back to your car or whatever. So the point of understanding these three qualities is to know that what matters most in life is not what we do, it's how we do it. That you can do anything tamasically, rajasically, or sattvically. If you want to get angry with someone, you can even get angry tamasically, rajasically, or sattvically. Tamasically would be to be violent, for example. Rajasically would be, to burst into tears and start yelling and be very vocal. But then sattvically would be to maintain a kind of centeredness as you are standing up for yourself and those who are vulnerable, but not crossing the other person's boundaries, just upholding your own. If you can try to do exactly what you're doing already in life, don't change anything except for the energy behind the action, then you are a yogi. So I highly recommend that chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Dear Hybrid Jen, thank you for your paper crane. What's a good mantra for a crane? The Soham mantra. Soham. Dear Tea with Tay, you ask, how do you become more sattvic? One of the simplest things is eat more sattvic food. What we put into our body also comes out. Obviously, you know this from the way digestion works, but it comes out not just physically, but through our words, through our thoughts, through our actions, for example. So eating more sattvic food can really help with that. Dear Greg Archie, you ask if all things are one and above inherent value. Is sattva really the best? Absolutely. And the reason that is because sattva is what balances the other two. It's not that sattva is competing with tamas or rajas. Sattva is precisely what balances tamas and rajas. So it is the mode of the best worlds. The best of both worlds, all in one. It is what's in between, if that makes sense. Thank you, dear. Oh, I already thank you, dear Hypergen. I thank you again because you deserve it. A great deal of what state we're in has to do with our food, indeed, dear Mirna. But it's definitely not the only factor. Dear Rick, you ask, can I share on how to become more authentic and more honest with oneself? I think the most important step is finding the value in authenticity and honesty. I certainly used to try to hide my faults and only show my virtues. But then I realized that counterintuitively, admitting where you're wrong is one of the highest virtues. Showing that you don't know everything can be so validating. Allowing yourself to make mistakes and learning from them in the audience of the people in our life can signal to them how important it is for them to also do the same. And now I see it as one of my favorite parts of myself, because the more honest I am about the things that I'm struggling with, the more people around me can be honest with that too. And that's absolutely what I want to inspire in the world, is people who openly share what they're going through and admit when they could try something differently. And I think the best way we can help do that is, of course, to reflect that ourselves. Dear Cody Jane, you ask, is spicy food rajasic? Yes, spicy food is rajasic. But not all, but spice itself isn't inherently rajasic. Please have flavorful foods. If you have bland food, that's tamasic food. If you ensure that your food is flavorful, that's part of a sattvic meal. So please use herbs and spices. Just don't overdo it. Then it becomes rajasic. Dear Cody Jane, you ask, if India is predominantly Hindu, then why is India full of spicy food? That's a great question, and it's a simple answer. Because most of Indians are not yogis. Most Indians simply don't follow that part of their own scriptures. And that's fine. Because the sattvic diet becomes most important when you're really dedicated. For an average householder, it's not up there on the priority list, and it doesn't have to be. What's much more important is things like the 5 yamas, practicing ahimsa, non-violence, satya, truthfulness, asteya, non-stealing, brahmacharya, non-lustfulness, and aparigraha, non-hoarding. But if you've already got a good hold of those yamas, then if you're interested in really going a far way in your spiritual endeavors, you can start thinking about sattvic food. Dear Cody Jane, you ask, if something is very tamasic, can it be balanced with something rajasic? No. The only way to balance the gunas is through sattva, because sattva is the quality of balance itself between them. But good question. That would be like balancing one extreme by also being extreme on the other side of the spectrum. But you can't balance extremism with another kind of extremism. True balance is found in meeting in the middle, and that's what sattva does, is it takes you away from the extremes. Deanna, you share, you went to a temple and afterwards they opened food and it was super spicy. I know, right? That's one thing I'd be terrified about going to India. Is I think even a sip of the water and I'd be going, this water is spicy. How do they do that? The sun is spicy. The air is spicy. Hello, dear Gabriella. But always seek the middle ground. Embrace a gentle balance. In my experiences, I have discovered that shying away from tamasic and rajasic food has made a most wonderful influence on my life. It's truly incredible how much nice, simple food make you feel nice and simple, and you express yourself in a simple way. When I eat a nice fruit, have some rice, have some nice yogurt, for example, my mind is so calm afterwards. Yes, dear Cody Jane, what is your question? Hello, dear Reese. Crossfires, you've always been drawn to India and their culture at even a young age. Well, that makes two of us. Dear Cody Jane, you share, throughout history, social progress has often been brought about through violence. How can we explain this? Well, this is a question I warmly invite. Important we talk about these things. If we are going to, then I hope we can maintain a lot of sensitivity surrounding this topic. It's true that a lot of change has come through such means, but I would like to turn the attention to peaceful ways of protest that have also created great change, and movements like the one Gandhi inspired in India of ahimsa, non-violence. He was very successful in getting the British imperialization to leave through non-violent means. There was, of course, many other different attempts to rid India of colonialism, but ultimately it was through practice of peace that got them to leave. I think that we have come to a place in time where we have more options than ever before, and it's so important for us to explore those options first. That would be the Sattvic way of creating change. Linking it back to the conversation of Gunas, violence would be a tamasic way to make change. Let's say public demonstrations that are not necessarily violent but still very passionate are rajasic ways of making change. And then through heartfelt letters sent to our leaders, honest and open communication, understanding each other's values and facilitating dialogue, that would be a Sattvic way of creating change. And they're all ways of creating change. But the Sattvic way just feels best. In the 13th chapter, Krishna describes that depending on which quality your action is based in, you will get different effects. For the 14th chapter, my apologies, I've been saying the 13th, but it's the 14th chapter. I'm trying to find a verse. These are all lovely verses that I'd like to read to you, but in the interest in not taking away from my engagement with you, I just want to read one or two. But if I had the ability, I'd read all of them for you. So this is what happens when you engage in an action in each mode. So you can create the same effect through any of these modes. You can create change tamasically, rajasically, or sattvically. But in the long term, the mode of tamas, darkness, it leads to more heedlessness, delusion, and ignorance over time. in the mode of rajas, passion, it eventually leads to more greed. But if you create change in the mode of sattva, purity, you create knowledge in the long term. And I think this makes sense if we think about it. We get long-lasting wisdom from the change brought by peaceful means. When the means are passionate, that passion can often have no bound, and even in the space created by the mode of passion, which is surely better than it was before, in that space, that passion may go too far, and people may become greedy with the change that they're trying to create because they get addicted to the sense of power. That, oh, if I can raise my voice and do this, then let's start doing all of these other things too. And then everyone starts speaking over each other. And when we create change tamasically through violence, for example, in that space left over, there's all these wounds that need to be healed from. And in those wounds, we become heedless. Passion can get overwhelming, but sattva bestows eternal lessons. Dear Stevie G, you share, if Shiva rules tamas, why is he so sattvic? Well, there's a difference between Shiva and Shiva. Shiva is traditionally the abode of tamas. And as such, you'll have the ability to see him in various stories depicted drunk, like in the story we've been reading. You can even listen to stories where he's violent, etc. Smoking the ganja. As such, he appeals to the most mischievous. It's like a back door to people who are feeling excluded from mainstream religion. The reason why there is not one form of the divine in India is so that everyone gets represented. People who are naturally, kind of rough riders, they like to be on the edge. They're edgy, they might have a dark sense of humor. What about sattva is appealing? Some people enjoy the dark. Okay, well then how can they have a path to the divine? Instead of trying to convert them, Shiva goes, hey, I'm one of you. You like to drink, I like to drink. But Shiva says, hey, I drink as a ceremony to help deepen my meditation. You drink to repress your feelings. If you are going to drink, at least drink like me. At least do it for the purpose of deepening some aspect of you, not hiding from any part of you. You like to smoke? I like to smoke. But I like to smoke to gain new insights on life. So imagine that. How progressive is that? Since thousands of years ago, there's a form of the divine that goes, hey, I'm also a bit of a thug. I'm a bit of a ruffian, but you can still find the divine through your way too. You just have to be more like Shiva. So it's not that you see sattva in him, you see divinity in him, and divinity is even beyond sattva. Divinity is nirguna, beyond all qualities. That is true, dear Cody. Non-violent change is slow, and you have a hard time reconciling this when so many people are in desperate need right now. I'll always remember my CPR instructor's advice to me that in an emergency, go slow, not fast. Why? Because going fast leads to mistakes, and mistakes leads to even more problems that you have to fix. In fact, you end up going slower by going faster, by trying to go fast, because you introduce all sorts of things that you have to solve in the process, in addition to everything already. But if you go if you go slow, then things become smooth. And if things are going smoothly, then things end up becoming fast. So, if you really want for things to become fast, try going slow. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Or if we want a nice alliteration, slow is smooth, smooth is swift. And I think the same holds true for the world. We're kind of like doctors attending to an emergency medical situation. Just instead of a paramedic, we are spirit souls, and instead of medical emergencies, we have worldly wounds. But in the exact same way, we need to pace ourselves very slowly, make sure we're listening to everyone, gain our bearing, and start introducing change very methodically so that it doesn't get swept from under our feet, so that we don't get carried away. Be absolutely patient. And you will change the world. Thank you for your question, dear Cody Jane. We must listen deeply to each other. Patience. And ground ourselves in presence. I just love those paradoxes too, dear Rick. Thank you, dear Anna Pauls, for your heart me. Om Dum Durgaya Namah. Dear Dopamine Queen, thank you for your fast burst. Om Tham Namaschandraya. I love that, Deanna. We change our world, then the whole world changes. Maybe you can relate to that topic, dear June. Very good to see you, Anna. How are you? And thank you for your presence, dear Fiddle Leaf. Much love to you, and good night. Dear Jake, you ask, is there anything I can offer that directly addresses anxiety? Are you feeling anxious right now? If so, I'm sorry, but I have experienced a lot of anxiety in my life. and I know what that's like. You're certainly not alone. I hope you find in the warmth of this space here things that can bring you to a sense of ease. You're usually anxious. The winter is difficult for you. Yeah, makes sense. Seasons are changing. The days are short. But we're just past the winter solstice. The days are getting longer. I made about a 40-minute video once on my ASMR YouTube channel, Yamsox ASMR, that walks you through consoling yourself when in a panic attack or existential dread or when you're feeling anxious. In that video, what you do is you validate your world from the outside in. You start with validating the fact that the world has things that are out of our control, and that's okay, because we don't have to be in control in order to be happy. The world is always going to introduce new experiences, and many of them put us out of our comfort zone, and you're not alone with that. There's lots of people in the world who are feeling the way you are. Validate the world. Then we validate our own space. We've got a ground beneath us, we've got walls, we've got a ceiling. We don't have to worry about anything outside of that. If there's anything we can do in our environment to make us feel better, explore those options, understimulate. Validate the world, validate the space around you, your personal bubble. Then validate your body. Bodies are weird. Sometimes they just make feelings out of nowhere. As you get older, your body just kind of produces things, and at some point I think you just go, oh well, I'm used to this. Try to, in a funny way, get used to your anxiety. It's like, oh, hello, old friend. Yeah. You don't surprise me anymore. Your body is where it's meant to be. If you need to take care of your body in any way, get it food and water. Attend to that. Validate the world, your personal bubble, your body. Then validate your senses. Have I been overstimulated with all the things I've seen, all the things I've heard, all the things I'm feeling, tasting, smelling? If you can, make your space very visually appealing for you. Maybe that might mean darkness. Maybe that might mean lighting a candle and having the warmth of that light, turning the lights on. Maybe you want to make the space silent or put some music on. What kind of sensual experience do you want? Maybe you want to light some incense, or maybe you're overwhelmed and you just want to be in an environment that doesn't smell like anything. Maybe you want to taste some good food or a drink. Validate your senses. Validate the world, your personal bubble, your body, your senses. How's the temperature? How's the textures on your skin? Do you need to go under the covers? Do you need to take a layer off? Turn up the heat, turn down the heat. Then, validate your mind. Mind is always a ruffian. Goofball is always thinking absolutely anything and everything. You don't have to believe your thoughts. Your mind is just looking out for you, and it's covering all possibilities. You don't necessarily decide what thoughts you have, and that's okay. Some thoughts are going to be there, but you don't have to express them or believe in them. You can just let your mind, be the mind. Be the wacky, thingamabob that it is. Validate your world, your personal bubble, your body, your senses, your mind, and validate your intellect. You are making just the right choices for yourself at this moment. You have made lots of choices. Some of them have led to lessons. Some of them have led to blessings. All lessons are blessings. All blessings are lessons. It doesn't matter what you choose, but how you choose them. And every single decision shapes who you are, and you're absolutely meant to be where you are. And given all of your experiences, it definitely makes sense, the knowledge that you have and what you act on. Validate the world, personal bubble, body, senses, mind, intellect, and validate your sense of self. How do you feel about yourself? Are you struggling with a few things? Do you feel like you could be a better person, but you're not? That's okay. It's a learning journey to take better care of yourself and be easier. You don't have to be perfect. You're absolutely allowed to be imperfect. Nobody is perfect. Who you are is something much more than the world, your personal bubble, your body, your senses, your mind, your intellect. You are pure awareness itself. Just dissolve into your own consciousness. Don't worry. The world won't disappear. It won't pass away without you. It'll all still be here. And once you get there, anxiety dissolves. That's the journey from the world to the soul, from what's outside to what's around, to our body, to our senses, to our mind, to our intellect, our sense of self, and then pure awareness, pure consciousness. Validate everything in that order, and you will return to your centered self. Embrace your imperfections. Trust the journey. Connect with awareness. Hello, dear Jason. I love you too. Thank you for your pair of roses. Jaya Satchit Ananda. Victory to truth, consciousness, and bliss. Hello, dear Marcy. So I hope that was helpful for you, dear Jake. Much love to you, and there will be a time where anxiety doesn't bother you anymore. It sounds miraculous, and it's because it is. Everyone that goes through anxiety eventually experiences the miracle of finding peace, solace. It's like the final. It's one of the most final stretches on parts of our journey to being peaceful. As anxiety is the beginning of the end of suffering. Think of it as as the last challenger in a Pokemon gym. And when you best that last challenger, you become the leader of the gym. So if you are blessed to have the opportunity to be anxious, it means you are very, 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 very close to finding peace, everlasting peace. While alive. You want the anxiety badge, exactly. Seems like a part of you, who you are, and that's scary. It is a part of who we are. It will always be with us, but there comes a point where it's no longer scary. And this will happen to you. Not a single doubt in my mind. There will be a point in which anxiety becomes a friend, not a foe. Just a voice, a part of many other voices in our system. Thank you, dear son, for the heart me that you sent. Om Vasudevataya Namaha. Anxiety is growth. You will grow through it. You will learn so much from it and become fearless. Transform that fear into friendship. Acknowledge all parts of your experience as valuable. And I appreciate all the support that's shared amongst each other here. Dear Mirna, you ask for how long have I been doing these lives? About a year consistently. A little over a year now. You're very welcome, dear Jake. It takes one to know one. An anxious wreck to another. My anxiety has gotten so bad that I've been to the hospital. And I don't know if you've ever been to the hospital for your anxiety, but it's one of the funniest experiences in hindsight, because they usually just send you home. They go, what are we supposed to do? And of course, when you're anxious, that's the worst. They do all sorts of tests. No, your heart's not gonna stop. Your blood work is fine. You're not going to die. Go home. You think, oh God, I must have something so rare that it didn't come up on their tests. But that's the anxiety. Actually, it's secretly a blessing, because it means that anxiety is not life-threatening. Many mental illnesses are life-threatening. Like, for example, if someone checks into the hospital with depressive symptoms, they don't usually send them home, thankfully. So the fact that they do for anxiety tells you that anxiety is not medically recognized as a threat to your life. Everyone who goes through anxiety experiences comfort later. It always passes, and usually on its own too. With things like depression, it requires intervention, but anxiety passes. It always does. Your daughter always says, takes one to know one, dear Diana. I love that saying. Hello, dear Angel Appleseed. I love your whole rainbow of hearts, from the Muladhara Chakra to the Sahasrara Chakra. One of the things that helped me through that period of time when I was going to the hospital for my anxiety, because it was making me so anxious I would always throw up, and I couldn't get any food down or even sleep, because even the concept of sleep terrified me, was chanting. It's something that I doubt a doctor would ever prescribe. I doubt even a therapist would prescribe, but a guru would prescribe. If you're anxious, chant. Probably one of the last things you'll think of. But start singing. Doesn't matter how shaky your voice is. Pick a mantra and give it your everything. For me, it was the Maha Mantra, the Hare Krishna mantra. I'd be an anxious wreck, absolutely shaking with my whole body, nauseous, curled up in a ball, and I'd just start going, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And I did it again and again and again and again. And it always did the trick. And not only did it do the trick, but my life started miraculously turning around. That is actually what they recommend as it calms the vagus nerve. Oh, I love that. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, for me, it was my lifesaver. It was not only what brought me out of my anxiety, it brought me into healthy relationships. I started doing things with my parents and family that I didn't before. I felt inspired to be a better brother, a better son, a better friend. Started doing all these chores even though I was feeling uncomfortable. I found a kind of courage to do things even while feeling so uncomfortable in my body. I quit vaping. I started putting weight on, which is a good thing for me because I was underweight, and my appetite returned. So many things just turned around within the span of a few weeks for me. And literally, the only thing I started doing differently was spending at least a few hours every day chanting. Dear Alex, thank you for your trio of roses. You ask, how did quitting vaping go? It was surprisingly easy. Yeah, I had been vaping for years, ever since I was a teenager, unfortunately. But yeah. People say that nicotine addiction can be even harder than an opioid addiction. But the moment I put faith in the divine, it became so easy. There was a few days that I experienced intense urges, but I just chanted. I chanted through the urge and it would go away, and every day got easier. And only by day 12 I stopped counting, because I knew I didn't have to count anymore. I knew it would last forever by day 12. Truly, what helped was understanding that my happiness is not found in that substance. I had firmly made the resolution with my intellect that true happiness is perhaps found in the discipline of not vaping, and it made me so happy to not vape. I got a dopamine rush every time I chose not to. Every time I said nah, I felt, oh, so good, just like that rush. But this time, it didn't come with nasty side effects, like fatigue or a drop in my mood minutes later. It was a kind of steady and consistent source of all the happy molecules. And I truly believe that this is possible for everyone. You got this, dear Alex. And congratulations on getting married. That's beautiful. Free will is crucial in healing. I love that, dear Myrna. Maybe you liked hearing that practice, dear angel. Let us rejoice in our mindful choices. True happiness is within. Share your joy. And thank you, Alex, for your additional 11 roses. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Dear Seb, you ask, how can you get over a breakup that broke your soul and heart? By understanding that you don't get over breakups, you go through them. You cannot go over, you cannot go around them, you cannot go under them, you must go through them. That is to say, everything you're feeling right now, you have to feel. Empower your feelings. You're absolutely allowed to grieve. No one is stopping you, except yourself. The way to feel better is to feel exactly what you're feeling now. Secondly, your soul can never be broken, though I know you speak poetically. But the truth is, there is a part of you that remains unbroken, and that is the definition of soul. All things in the world come to pass, but you, as spirit soul, are changeless. Find that part of you that is changeless, and even your grief will become peaceful. I'll tell you a story. When I was grieving from my breakup a little over a year ago, I cried so hard that it started to feel good. I cried for hours and hours. I never cried so much in my life. I was in so much pain. And one prayer changed my life. I prayed that the universe make me more sad, because I felt like any happiness I had, I didn't deserve to feel. And that's when the miracle happened. The moment I prayed like that, the moment I prayed for all my peace to leave me, that any peace I had, I didn't deserve to feel. I said, please, O Lord, any good feelings left in me, give them to my ex. May she feel any peace I feel, and may I only be heartbroken. As soon as I prayed like that, I discovered that there's a part of me that could never leave me. I was almost mad at the universe. I said, how dare you leave me with some peace? Take it away. And I was curious, why couldn't I take that part of me away? How come there's a part of me that no matter how much I cry, continues to be peaceful? How dare there be a part of me that's so peaceful? So I prayed and prayed, leave me, peace, leave me. And the more I paid attention to that peace, the greater it grew, and my tears became ecstatic. I was so heartbroken that I broke open. And in that openness, I realized that there's a part of me that's so peaceful, it cannot be removed, even during such a heartbreaking time. And when I found that part of me, my grief became so beautiful. I loved the fact that I was sad, because it allowed me to connect with that part that's always there, no matter what. I would still cry. I would still be sad. I'm turning off the alarm on my phone. But now, in that sadness, there was a great peace that wouldn't leave. It couldn't leave, because it was me. I had found the place of pure peace that I am. I could not separate myself from my true essence. And ironically, I found that place of peace by desiring not to be peaceful. How funny it is that we spend our whole life saying, please, oh universe, make me peaceful. Oh please, can't I be peaceful? And the universe gives nada. Zip. Nil. Nothing. But then the moment you say, oh universe, I don't want to be peaceful, then the universe goes, and you shall be infinitely peaceful. It's a cosmic joke. Hello, dear Gandalf. Much love, dear Seb. It is kind of like reverse psychology, dear Giovanna. Thank you, dear Hybrid Jen, for your finger heart. Om Vamadevaya Namo Jeshthaya Namah Shrishtaya Namo Rudraya Namah Kalaya Namah Kalavikarnaya Namo Balaya Namo Balavikarnaya Namo Balapramatanaya Nama Sarva Bhuta Damanaya Namo Manon Manaya Namaha. Seek paradoxical wisdom. True essence of the self is not just peace, but bliss. Surrender to the universe, and your surrender shall set you free. Dear Gregor, you know of Brahmari Pranayama, bee breathing. I have heard of yogis doing this too. I have yet to learn it myself, but I would love to. Now I have a question of the day for all of you. If you're interested in exploring together, before we transition into our final subject, I ask, how do you maintain peace within stressful environments? Now I see why I forgot to reveal this question yesterday, because the universe wanted me to save it for this moment. Cosmic humor never fails to make my soul laugh. Let's explore together, serenely. You love yourself, shares Elaine. Beautiful answer. You have to. You are love itself. You hold your breath, dear Hybrid Jen. Well, being conscious of your breathing can be really helpful, yes. Jake, you share, you usually make peace within yourself and extend it outward. I like that. Dear Gandalf, you ask, what do I do? Well, thank you for asking. I would love to hear from all of you first, and then I'll share my thoughts. I know there's so much wisdom from all of you. I look forward to listening, open to what you have to share. Muna, you share you have a grim thought turning in your head for a couple of days. That's okay. You are not the thought. Thoughts come and go like passing cars. You get to choose which ones you want to hitch a ride with and which ones you wish to pass you by. Dear Seb, you share by thinking about divinity in your family. I like that. Consider our gratitudes. Dear User 308, you share by realizing that it is your choice to get stressed, not the environment's. I love that. Empower your choice. Your boundaries shares crossfires. Don't disturb your peace of mind. Yeah. Dear Greg RG, you share you'd like to say, step back, but you can't always. So you say, adjust focus on the breath and keep going. I love that. I love reflecting on all the wisdom here. I'm grateful for your responses. Dear Cody Jane, you share, try to pay attention to the positive things around. Absolutely. Elaine, you share, in relaxing and massage you find peace. Jake, you ask, is there anyone that validates the stress? Are you wondering if there are? I don't want to assume. I'm not sure in what context you ask this question. You're asking the chat? Okay. Thank you. Dear Jizu, you share, remember all that you appreciate and that this too shall pass. That is important. I like the things we've shared so far. Honor the peace within us. Focus on your breath. Validate all feelings. What's valid is feeling stressed. That's for sure. But stress is always manageable. Dear Tea with Tay, you share, you allow yourself to feel what you need to feel without judgment. Beautiful. Respect yourself, shares Elaine. Welcome back, dear Deanna. Oh, these are wonderful answers. Dear G, you share, to be honest, if the space is too stressful, you exit out of the environment. Yeah, that's a great option. If you don't have to be there, then why stress yourself out unnecessarily by being there? Thank you for that. Choose your environment. Honor your feelings. And use wisdom to manage stress. If you are feeling stressful, my piece of advice is to understand that the root cause of stress is centered around our identity. If we choose to identify with something out of our control, then we feel stressed. For example, in a work environment, you might have pressure to reach certain quotas, certain deadlines. If you identify with the person that meets all deadlines as the person that always succeeds, then of course you're going to be stressed. But if you allow yourself the reasonable expectation that sometimes you'll do your best, but quotas won't be met, people will have their own disappointments, and there's only so much we can do, then you can be doing the exact same thing, no longer identified, and you're free from the outcome. That's what Krishna teaches in the Bhagavad Gita, that the secret to being beyond stress is something called karma yoga, the yoga of action. To be a karma yogi, it means understand that your best is enough, and that in all situations, all you have to do is what you can, and anything that you can't do is not yours to worry about. Thus being free from karmic bondage and feeling trapped in an inevitable outcome, fortunate or unfortunate. Free yourself from the outcome. Your duty is not to create any environment, but to manage what you can, what's within your control. Just like the Serenity Prayer, we pray for the strength to change the things we can, courage to accept the things we can't, and the wisdom to know the difference. Well, it's a great example of respecting yourself, dear G. Knowing that you add value in a place that respects you most. And dear Anton, you add, try to understand what is going on below the stress to gain better understanding. When you have identified which part of self is being threatened, it is usually a simple thing to see how you can add joy. I love that. Thank you for your Anton add-on. True control is not in the environment, but in doing what we can. Using our actions as ways to express ourselves, our highest nature. And the more we cultivate inner wisdom, the more tools we can have at our disposal to process our experiences in the moment. And It's your reaction to a situation. I like that, Elaine. I'm glad you like the Serenity Prayer, dear Elaine. It was my grandfather's. Alright. Let us transition from Manana to our final segment of our Sangha, Nididhyasana. But always remember, cultivate your joy, understand yourself, and express your truth. To end our Sangha with the Nididhyasana, with some supplementary practice to integrate everything we've experienced thus far, I'd like to engage in a guided meditation to help slip into dreams. Don't worry. If you don't want to dream right now, you can just use it for relaxation purposes. I wish I had the power to induce people into dreams, but fortunately, it is a consensual process. But if it's late for you, or maybe if you want to take a nap, or if you want to use this technique when you do get to bed later, or if you want to come back to this as a recording, then this is for those that want an easier time, going to bed at night. One of the simplest pieces of advice I can ever give you if you want to help yourself fall asleep is don't fall asleep, fall a dream. In Vedanta, the tradition of extracting the highest revelations of the earliest scriptures called the Vedas, there is often discussion of the three states of existence: the waking state, the dream state, and the sleep state. In English, we often say that dreams are part of sleep, but a Vedantin might distinguish sleep as something without dreams. Just like the 3 stages of REM sleep in modern medical science, there's a layer where you're basically still conscious. There's a layer in which you're subconscious, exploring dreams, and then there's a layer in which you're unconscious of anything, and that's when you're in deep, dreamless sleep, where the body engages in rejuvenation and healing, and the Vedantins say you are reunited with Source. Sleep is just one end of the spectrum, and waking is other. So to try to go from waking to deep sleep is a pretty big jump. Instead of trying to fall asleep, I recommend try transitioning first into dreams, and then when you are in dream, you will fall asleep later. How do we bring on our dreams? That is the meditation for us tonight. So please find a posture that works for you. If you want to lay down, perfectly fine. This would be the rare exception of a meditation where you don't have to keep your head unsupported to stay awake, because the goal is not to stay awake. have a pillow, lay down, relax, or any other position that's comfortable for you. If you ever pay attention to an animal that's sleeping, or maybe a baby, or if you've ever slept next to someone and woken up, you might notice that their exhales are often longer than their inhales. You might inhale to the count of 4, but exhale to the count of 8. That can help signal to the body that in each prolonged exhale, you are spending more time releasing the experiences of the day than you are acquiring new ones. Set aside any responsibilities that you wanted to fulfill today. Forgive yourself and trust that you'll do better tomorrow. Take your thoughts about the day and leave them to be processed while you dream. Turn off the logical mind. Just let your thoughts flow without any analysis, without attributing any labels or categories or signs of good or bad to any thoughts of the day. Just let your mind find its way slowly into its natural state. As you do this, you may notice various thoughts surrounding moments of your day arise. You might have conversations replaying themselves. You might see flashes of memes that you are scrolling through or videos. You may hear voices of the people you listened to today. The impressions of a beautiful sunset or the face of a loved one might come and go. This is your mind's natural way of processing the things that we don't have time for during the day, but we do at night. You may have heard of a very powerful instrument of science called the Large Hadron Collider at CERN in Geneva, Switzerland, kilometers below the ground, I believe, just next to the border with France. It's one of the most powerful machines ever made, and the machine turns on for a few years, and during that time it smashes trillions of protons against each other, subatomic particles that make up the atoms at 99.9999 something the speed of light. So much data is being produced, something like gigabytes per second. There's no supercomputer in the world that can process that data live. So, every few years, the scientists turn off the Large Hadron Collider and they redirect all that energy to the supercomputers that begin to process all that data and then finally make scientific discoveries. Your day and night is just the same. During the day, you are like the Large Hadron Collider, making all sorts of new data points and interactions, and it's so much. You see so much per second, you hear so much, you feel. Just like the Large Hadron Collider, it's truly gigabytes per second. You could never process all of that at once. So our universe is just as smart as our scientists, and it has created a faculty within you that rests at night, and during that time you redirect your energy to the supercomputer of your subconscious, and that is the purpose of dream. Knowing this, allow your mind to flow freely. Its programming is very abstract. Ensure that all visions that come, you allow them to persist and then subside when they're ready. Not repressing any thoughts, not holding on to any thoughts, just letting the supercomputer of your subconscious turn on. Imagine that you are like an arrow, and as that arrow, you fly through the world, seeing all sorts of new sights to behold. Allow these visions to come to mind as I describe them. Let's say a beautiful person that looks like you picks up an arrow and pulls back on the drawstring, and then lets go, and the arrow shoots forward, and it takes with it your consciousness. And this is a magical arrow, of course, because you are magical. Everywhere that arrow goes, it never lands, it continues to fly. It soars through the trees, making a bunch of birds scatter. They start following you as the arrow goes higher into the sky. You form the tip of a V for birds who are migrating south for the winter. All the birds are following behind you. You can hear them singing their songs. As you go higher, you start to see the world get smaller below you. You pierce the clouds, and you're surrounded by just white light, fluffiness, softness, moisture. You feel the cool breeze. And as you penetrate the top layer of the clouds, you see the sun and the blue sky, and it's like you're an arrow floating in heaven. It looks like cotton balls, marshmallows, cauliflower beneath you. You can see all the beautiful shapes that the clouds make as the light refracts through it. And you see on the horizon beautiful shades of orange, of yellow, of red, of pink, the most vivid sunset you've ever seen. And as the magical arrow, you continue to rise higher, and the atmosphere gets thinner, and the sky begins to reveal all of the millions of stars in the night. And you see all your favorite constellations: Big Dipper, the Seven Sisters, Orion. You see Libra, Virgo, Aquarius, Taurus. And you feel like as you get higher and higher, you start to even see all the stars twinkling and radiating their own light, uniquely theirs. And then you come to a point of stillness, where the tip of the arrow is pointed towards the sun, ever luminous and bright, consistently radiating its wonderful low entropy energy. And behind you is the moon, reflecting the sun's light, changing in its phases. Sun represents the illuminating witness consciousness. Moon represents the changing nature of the mind that reflects that consciousness. Divine masculine, divine feminine. And you feel yourself between them. And then the tip of the arrow begins to drop. And you see the world getting closer to you again. You fall again through the clouds. And on the other side, you see the whole world. You see trees, you see mountains, you see valleys. And it's almost like you're flying in slow motion. You see the world slowly getting bigger. You see deserts, you see rivers, you see the ocean, you see lakes, you see houses, you see farms. Everything looks so small, like miniatures, cars, just like toys driving on tiny lines we call roads. You can see the whole world is continuing in movement, slowly but surely. You see your bird friends again. They fly with you again. Happy to fly alongside you. And as you get closer again to the ground, you spin around again. So now that your tail is pointed towards the ground and your tip towards the sky, and you perfectly land in your own hand again. And you take that arrow, you put it in your bow again, and you point in another direction, and you shoot it off again. And you can continue in this way as many times as you want, seeing different things each time. Maybe one time you go to the moon, another to the sun, to Pluto, Venus, Mercury, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Jupiter. Maybe you visit another asteroid or a solar system, an alien world. You can go across the galaxy to a black hole or another universe. You can travel through time, or you can stick to the wonders of Earth, flying to the Eiffel Tower or the Pyramid of Giza. You can see the Colosseum of Rome or Machu Picchu, Easter Island, explore all the wonders of the world. You can go anywhere you want, and that's the beauty of dreams. For now, I leave you to explore your own imagination as you drift into dream. May you have a beautiful sleep whenever you get there. That concludes our guided meditation. If ever you like the sound of that, you're welcome to come back to the recording that I'll upload on my YouTube channel, along with the all meditations and show and tells and our readings called Yamsox Lives. I am the Sandman. Mr. Sandman. Embrace the limitless exploration of your mind and your heart. Discover with wonder and create your adventure. Thank you, dear Gina, for your trio of roses. Om Kring Kalikaye Namah. Thank you, everyone. Today being ASMR Sunday, might be Monday for many of you, will be uploaded to my Yamsox ASMR YouTube channel. I have 2 YouTube channels. One for spiritual relaxation. That's on the ASMR YouTube channel, Yamsox ASMR. And I have the regular archive channel, Yamsox Lives. Both are linked in the link tree in my bio. Thank you, dear Seb. You made my day better. Thank you, dear Starlight Wow, for your tiny Yahoo! Thank you, everyone, for being here. Always grateful to be a part of the space. I have lots of love for all of you. Plenty of love to go around, and I love to see all the love shared with each other. If you want to join the Discord, that's open to everyone. And it's linked with the Discord icon at the top of the link tree in my bio. You're welcome to join if you want. Otherwise, no problem. I'll see you when I see you. And I look forward to having you here tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be here 5 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow again. Or it might be your today, it's my tomorrow. Not quite midnight where I live yet. But if it's late for you, make sure you get some sleep. Dear Jackie, you share that your son gets a tiny beanie this Christmas. Oh, I'm so grateful you like that. I think it's silly, but I love silly. last minute Christmas gift. Yeah, you get some Yamsox, a Yam Dana, or a Tiny Beanie. Also the link tree in my bio. You do not do Discord, dear Deanna. You don't like the name? Oh, don't let the name fool you into thinking it's a place full of discordance. It's actually a place full of concordance. Maybe they could have called it Concord instead of Discord. Yes. It is named after chat rooms in video games that can be full of discord, but it's expanded beyond the purpose of being a chat room for video game players and can be a set of chat rooms for many people. And I can assure you there's no Discord in our server. There's only Concord. What's the Discord channel name? It's called Hridayakasha, which means heart space in Sanskrit. Most Discord servers don't have an ability to be found by searching. However, you have to be invited, so you can't find it by searching. But if you get an invitation link, you can join. So that's what makes it nice and private, is that only those with an invitation link are there. And the invitation link I put in my link tree in my bio. If you see that link that says linktr.ee/YAMSOX, there's icons for all the social media, and if you click on the Discord icon, looks like a video game controller. That's your invitation. Maybe I can show you what that looks like. So you go to the website that's linked in my bio, linktr.ee, linktree with a dot in the middle of tree /Yamsox, and it looks like this. I can make it even bigger for you. And then you see at the top, there's all those icons. Discord is the one. Fourth from the left, that looks like a pair of eyes and a video game controller. So if you click on this one, you'll see you've been invited to join Hridayakasha Asanga. And wow, we already have almost 100 members. That's incredible. Everyone is welcome. Thank you, dear G. Thank you, Jen, for your 11 roses. Om Brahmbhairvaya Namah. We've made that space possible because I know that there's a lot of connections being made between each other here, and that's the digital sanctuary, to be able to foster those connections when I'm not live, for example. And in case you're uncertain what it is it's like you made a glorified group chat with every feature you could possibly imagine, like your own rooms that you could go in together, rooms that are dedicated to discussing certain topics. There's also rooms that have fun things in it, games to play. There's a place where you can talk to a digital assistant I made called Mataji form of the Divine Feminine who knows much more than I do. I am basically her pawn in a much greater game. Share things that you love, and yeah, it's like the equivalent of a physical space for a community, but on the internet. With that, that's the end of my advertisement. Thank you for being here, everyone. Thank you, my lovely moderators, for helping keep the peace, both here and on Discord. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your night, or your afternoon, or your evening, or your morning, whatever time it is for you. May this live stream be an offering to the divinity within you. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to the light, from death to deathlessness. May there be peace in us, may there be peace in our environment, and may there be peace in the forces that act on us. I forgot to do the prayer at the beginning of this Sangha. Here, let me time travel back in time and do the beginning prayer also. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karva Vahai Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Ma Vidvisha Vahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Divine protect us both together. May the Divine nourish us both together. May our study be vigorous and effective, and may we not mutually dispute or hate any. May there be peace in us, may there be peace in our environment, and may there be peace in the forces that act on us. Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you, dear Hypergen, for another rose. Much love to you. Om Agorebhyo Ta Gorebhyo Agore Gore Tarebhya Sarvadha Sarva Sarvebhyo Namaste Rudra Rupebhya. If there's anything I can do to make this space more inclusive next time, please let me know. My inboxes are open on all other platforms. Namaste. Embrace the moment. Be grounded in blessings and continue to foster collective peace.